In a quest to reorder my Doctor Who DVDs, I decided, since I'm on such a large number of my collection, I've decided, well, I might as well choose my top 10 from my collection. The top 10 Doctor Who episodes that I believe are the best stories of Doctor Who. So yeah, we'll start from the beginning. At number 10, we have not Series 1 obviously, but the stories are The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. I find that this has to be on the list because The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances is a very scary, very powerful, and I find that it's got the best performances from Christopher Eccleston, and the new character Captain Jack is introduced in this episode, and I find that it's a really good piece of episode. So yeah, moving on to number 9, we have Brain of Morbius. Yeah, well, Brain of Morbius is, well, it's basically based off Frankenstein. You've got the crazed scientist, the monster, which is Morbius, and the servant and all that, and it's got a gothic horror taste, and I find that Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen are very good acting in this, and yeah, so that's why that's number 9. Number 8, we have The Five Doctors. I had to put at least one of the multiple Doctor episodes / movies in, because I find that at least one of them needed to be in, and since the Five Doctors is, I was going to say the Five Doctors is the best in my opinion. Plus it's a feature-length movie. It has to be in there. Although Tom Baker isn't in it much, because it's just a clip from Shada put over. I don't think Tom Baker had any input in the actual thing, but yeah, so the 4 Doctors really, but yeah, the other actors, even the actor who replaced William Hartnell in this, which is the name of Richard Hurdle, whatever. Well, he's in this, and there's Daleks, Cybermen, and multiple other monsters, and I find that the Cybermen are really useful, because they're not the main villain, because the villain's obviously the Time Lords, but the Cybermen do make a good brutish type monster. So yeah, moving on to number 7. So, number 7. Number 7 is another new series episode, and it is Blink. Now, Blink is a really, really good episode. One of Moffat's best writing. Because the Weeping Angels, although have been portrayed very badly in Series 5, but in Series 3, when they first appeared, the fear built up. I was actually, literally, hiding behind a couch. That is something I rarely do with Doctor Who. Because, yeah. So yeah, I find Blink a really good episode. And it's also a Doctor Light episode. But, the Doctor explanations and stuff like that Tennant gives is just good. Amazing. So yeah, that's why it is number 7. So yeah, moving on to number 6, The Warrior's Gate. Another Tom Baker episode. Tom Baker's very popular in my collection. Mainly because I've got the most of Tom Baker. But that's because Tom Baker is very 7 years as the Doctor. So yeah, Warrior's Gate. Well, it's a very complex episode because it keeps you thinking, because you're not quite sure what's happening or which universe he's in. And it's part of the E-Space Trilogy box set, which comes with Full Circle and State of Decay. But they're not on my top 10. But Warrior's Gate itself is a very good episode / story. So yeah, that's why State of Decay is on there. And my next on the list is number 5, which is The Rescue, which is a William Hartnell. So some would say it's the original Doctor, or William Hartnell. Whoops, I've just dropped it. William Hartnell. It's a short 2-episode long story, and really it's like a gap filler between unwanted missing parts. But really, I find that it was written very well, and for a 2-parter, it's actually quite good. With other 2-parters, they're just made to fill in time, really, but I find that with The Rescue, best 2-parter from like classic series ever. So yeah. Well, the next one is number 4, and you will all know it because it's one of the Doctor Who's biggest classics. It's another Tom Baker, surprisingly. Genesis of the Daleks. Now, Genesis of the Daleks was placed on my top 10 because you've got to be insane not to put it on anyone's top 10, really. Because Genesis of the Daleks is a classic. One of the most classic Doctor Who episodes ever. Because it's really about the creation of the Daleks and the first ever story with Davros in. And Tom Baker's acting in it is just amazing, and Davros is just amazing, and it's just amazing. So yeah, that's why it's on my top 10. And now to number 3. Another Dalek episode. Number 3 is Remembrance of the Daleks. Now the reason this is, I know that it's not, some people don't find it that good, but I've put it at number 3 because, well, the fights with the Daleks are just brilliant. 2 Dalek fractions killing each other, Renegade and Imperial. One owned by the Supreme and one controlled by Davros. Thus, it has to be somewhere on my top 10 because not only do you get 1 Dalek army, you get 2 Dalek armies fighting each other. And it basically shows that humans are just helpless when it comes to 2 armies of Daleks. And that's why I've put it on my list. Now, we're nearly through with my top 10, and now we're on number 2, which is not a Dalek episode this time. This time it's Attack of the Cybermen. Now, Attack of the Cybermen is really very, very violent. And I know that violence can be frowned upon in Doctor Who because the Doctor isn't violent. And yet, in this, the Doctor is quite violent. But I love the 80s Cybermen. The 80s Cybermen must be the best Cybermen ever. Even the new Cybermen can't really compare to them because they're so violent. And they're just... the helmets are amazing. And to be fair, I just really like them. The voices are brilliant, and so yeah, and the violence in this episode is basically what I would say got the 6 Doctors series cancelled. Because the Cybermen basically break arms and kill each other and stuff like that. It's just amazing. So yeah, one of the best episodes from Colin Baker's era.